In my previous life, I stood in the center of the wedding hall dressed in a crimson bridal gown. The gazes of the assembled guests shifted from blessings to mockery, then to utter contempt. My fiancé, Gu Yanchen, was tearfully pulled away by my half-sister Su Qingyue's personal maid just moments before the ceremony, leaving only these words: "Qingyue is dying. I can't abandon her." Only later did I learn Su Qingyue was never ill. She merely resented having no one to tend her baths or indulge her whims. So she spun this colossal lie. I became the laughingstock of the entire capital. My father and brothers berated me for bringing shame upon the Su family. Lady Lu hurled scornful barbs. Su Qingyue, feigning concern during her visits, stabbed at my heart with both open and hidden cruelty. Within half a year, depression consumed me. I drew my last breath, coughing up blood, in a leaky outbuilding not yet 20 years old. In a daze, the shrill sound of Swana horns pierced my eardrums once more. My eyes snapped open. Before me lay the familiar crimson wedding silk. I was clad in that bridal gown that had shamed me for a lifetime. The wedding hall was filled with bustling heads, and Gu Yanchen was turning to leave. His coat was already half lifted, his face bearing impatience and self-righteousness. His words cut deep, etched into my bones. Wan Qing, I'm sorry. Qingyue's maid just sent word, suddenly coughing up blood and may not hold out. I must go see her. As for the wedding, he trailed off. My voice cracked slightly, yet it cut through the air with enough clarity to drown out his words and silence the surrounding whispers. Gu Yanchen froze, turning back to me, his brow furrowing. What did you say? I didn't look at him. My gaze passed over his shoulder, settling on Gu Yanji standing behind him. Gu Yanji was Gu Yanchen's younger half-brother. In my previous life, he had stood in this very spot, watching Gu Yanchen stride away, leaving me behind. His eyes had brimmed with resentment and regret. Back then, his standing in the Gu household was low. He had no right to speak for me. All he could do was silently hand me a handkerchief as others pointed fingers at me. Lifting my skirt hem, I descended the wedding hall steps in my embroidered shoes, walking straight to Gu Yan's. High, taller than Gu Yanchen with an upright bearing, he wore the secondary character's light blue ceremonial robe, yet it lent him a steadier presence than Gu Yanchen's bright crimson attire. The surrounding guests began to stir, murmuring quietly. The Su family patriarch and brothers darkened in expression. Lady Lu stood beside me, feigning concern as she tugged at my sleeve, murmuring, Wan Qing, don't be foolish. I shook off Lu Shi's hand, looked up at Gu Yanji, and said, one word at a time. Gu Yanji, let's get married. The moment those words left my mouth, the wedding hall erupted. Some gasped, others let out sharp cries of awe, while others began whispering among themselves, their voices several times louder than before. Old Master Su's beard trembled with fury as he pointed at me. You've gone mad. Gu Yanji froze, his usually distant eyes widening in shock as if he were staring at a stranger. His Adam's apple bobbed, but no words came for a long moment. Gu Yanchen was the first to snap out of it. He rushed over in a few strides, grabbing my wrist with such force it felt like he might crush my bones. His tone was both urgent and furious. Su Wan Qing, what the hell are you doing? I was just going to see Qingyue. The wedding can still go on. How could you say such shameless things? Gritting my teeth against the searing pain in my wrist, I struggled twice but couldn't break free. I lifted my gaze to meet his, a cold smile curling my lips. Shameless. Gu Yanchen, you abandon your fiancé before the altar to tend to a feigning concubine daughter and you call that integrity? Who's feigning illness? Gu Yanchen's face flushed crimson. Qing Yue clearly. Clearly what? I cut him off, pulling a folded paper from my sleeve pocket and flinging it before him. This is what I had my servant inquire about at the painted boat in the western part of the city this morning. See for yourself. Your dear sister was still on the pleasure boat at dawn, drinking wine and listening to songs. She didn't return to the mansion until noon. How could she suddenly cough up blood and collapse by midday? The paper landed with a thud, the handwriting and the boat attendant's signature clear as day. Gu Yanchen's face instantly drained of color. He instinctively reached to pick it up but stopped mid-motion, his eyes darting away. He clearly knew he'd been tricked but still tried to put on a brave front. You sent someone to watch Qing Yue. His voice trembled. If I didn't keep tabs on her, would I just let her lead me around by the nose and make me the laughingstock of the capital all over again? I countered, my voice quiet yet amplifying the surrounding murmurs. Many eyes turned to Gu Yanchen, now tinged with mockery and contempt. Madame Lu, standing nearby, grew anxious and hastily tried to smooth things over. Chinner is just worried. Late Qing. Don't dwell on this. It's a joyous occasion, let's not spoil the harmony. Harmony. I shot her a glance. In my past life, she was the one who secretly urged Su Qingyue to feign illness and slandered me as immature before my father. Now she dares to play this game again. Concubine Lu. The harmony between Gu Yanchen and me vanished the moment he chose to abandon me for Su Qingyue. I turned my gaze back to Gu Yanji, who stood frozen in place. My tone was calmer now, yet held an unwavering certainty. Gu Yanji, I ask you, do you wish to marry me? The Gu family's betrothal gifts have already been delivered to the Su household. The wedding hall is prepared. Once we perform the rites, I become the Gu family's daughter-in-law. That's better than letting both the Su and Gu families become laughingstocks. Gu Yanji finally snapped out of his daze. He glanced at Gu Yanche, whose face had turned ashen, then looked at me. His eyes flickered with complex emotions: surprise, hesitation, and something else. After a few breaths of silence, just as everyone expected him to refuse, he suddenly stepped forward, clasping his hands before me. He declared in a clear voice, I accept. His words stunned even me. I knew he had despised Gu Yanchen's actions in the previous life, but I never imagined he would agree so decisively. Gu Yanchen exploded. He yanked his hand away from mine and pointed at Gu Yanzi. How dare you? Gu Yanzi, who do you think you are? Trying to snatch my fiancé? Gu Yanzi met his gaze, his tone calm yet sharp. Since you, elder brother, intend to accompany Miss Su, this marriage naturally requires someone capable of shouldering the responsibility. Besides, Miss Su chose me herself. How could it be called stealing? Old Master Su finally snapped out of his daze. Though furious, he knew that if this marriage fell through, the Su family's reputation would be utterly ruined. Gritting his teeth, he said, if Yanji is willing, then let the ceremony proceed. Lady Lu tried to interject, but my father shot her a glare that silenced her. She reluctantly shut her mouth. The matchmaker, quick to read the room, stepped in to smooth things over, calling out again, the auspicious hour is nearly over. The newlyweds, take your places. Pushed forward by the matchmaker, I stood with Gu Yanji in the center of the wedding hall, gazing at the red candles before me, listening to the renewed sounds of the sham. I felt not a shred of joy, only a cold, hard calm. The debts from my past life, I would collect every last one. Gu Yanchen, Su Qingyue, the Lu family, none of them would escape. Halfway through the ceremony, wails suddenly pierced the air from outside. Su Qingyue's maid stumbled in, collapsing to her knees and sobbing. Master, my mistress is truly dying. Please go see her. Gu Yanquan's eyes lit up, and he was about to step forward when Gu Yanzi spoke first, instructing the Gu family steward to send someone to check. Go fetch the finest physician. If Miss Su is truly ill, treat her properly. If she is not ill, bring her back to the mansion. She must not cry and cause a scene in the wedding hall, offending the newlyweds. The steward departed with the order. Gu Yanquan's feet froze in place, his face alternating between pale and flushed. He could only watch helplessly as Gu Yanzi and I completed the wedding ceremony, leaning on the matchmaker's arm. I stared down at the gold thread embroidery on my skirt hem, my fingertips curling slightly. The first step was already taken. The path ahead would only grow harder. But I wasn't afraid. A cool breeze swept in from outside the wedding hall, lifting the red veil over my head. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Gu Yanji's hand hanging limply at his side, knuckles slightly white clearly. He hadn't fully calmed either. Gu Yanquan stood in the corner, his gaze fixed on me, venom practically oozing from his eyes. As Gu Yanji's fingertips gently lifted the veil, I was lost in thought, staring at the dragon phoenix candles on the table. The flickering candlelight cast shifting shadows in his eyes. He handed me a cup of wedding wine, his voice softer than in the ceremony hall. Miss Su, regarding today's matter, now that we've completed the rites, young Master Gu should address me as his wife. I interrupted him, my fingertips brushing the warmth of the cup without raising it. Though our marriage was hasty, we each sought what we needed. Let us keep to our own path. As henceforth, his hand holding the cup paused. Then a faint smile touched his lips. He asked no more, merely downing his own cup in one gulp, watching the curve of his Adam's apple as he swallowed. I understood clearly. His acceptance of this marriage wasn't necessarily out of pity for me. More likely, he saw it as an opportunity to carve out a place for himself within the Gu family. After all, Gu Yanquan was the legitimate eldest son, while he, as the younger son of a concubine, rarely even had a seat at the table for family discussions. Sudden, hurried footsteps echoed outside, mingled with Gu Yanquan's furious roar. I set down my cup, rose, and approached the door. As I pulled it open a crack, I saw Gu Yanquan yanking a Gu family servant, his face flushed and veins bulging as he bellowed. Bring Su Wanqing out here. Qingyue's fever remains high. As her elder sister, how could she hide in the bridal chamber and ignore it? Lady Lu followed behind, one hand pressed to her temple, the other wiping away non-existent tears. Wanqing, please come out. Qingyue's breath is as faint as a thread. If you don't go see her soon, I fear. I pushed the door open, standing on the threshold and looking down at them from above. Gu Yanquan, seeing me emerge, instantly broke free from the servant and lunged forward to grab my arm, only to be halted by Gu Yanzi's outstretched hand. Brother, on our wedding night, it's improper to pull my wife about. Gu Yanji's voice was low but carried a hint of authority. Gu Yanquan's hand froze midair, and he shot him a furious glare. Inappropriate. Gu Yanquan turned and shouted at me. Su Wanqing, Qingyue is your own sister. She's nearly dying, and you still have the heart to consummate your marriage. How can you be so heartless? She won't die. I pulled a brocade box from my sleeve pocket and tossed it into Lady Lu's arms. Aunt Lu, this is what I had the accountant verify yesterday. Su Qingyue ordered a gold hairpin inlaid with rubies from Golden Jade Pavilion last month. And she also incurred 50 taels of silver in debt at the gambling house the day before yesterday. Explain this to me. How could a patient hanging by a thread still have the energy to buy jewelry and gamble? Lu hurriedly opened the box. Upon seeing the receipts and jewelry blueprints inside, her face instantly drained of color. Her hand trembled, nearly dropping the box to the floor. This must be a misunderstanding. The bookkeeper must have made a mistake. How could Qingyue ever go to a gambling house? Whether it's a misunderstanding or not, just ask the maid by your side. I turned to the mournful-faced maid behind Lu Shi, the same one who had been wailing in the wedding hall earlier. The day before yesterday afternoon. Did you accompany your young mistress to the Jusai gambling house in the south of the city? And did you cover 10 taels of silver for her gambling stake? The maid fell to her knees with a thud, burying her face low. Enough! Gu Yanchen suddenly roared, kicking the maid aside. It's just a few trinkets and a handful of silver. What's there to say? Qingyue is frail. What's wrong with buying her something to lift her spirits? Su Wanqing. You simply can't stand seeing her happy. Cheer herself up. I sneered coldly, then turned to call out into the courtyard. Auntie Zhang, please bring the old madam over. Auntie Zhang, the personal attendant to the Gu family's matriarch, had been standing behind the old madam during the wedding ceremony. Hearing my voice, she immediately responded, yes, and hurried toward the rear courtyard. Gu Yanchen and Lady Lu both paled. The matriarch valued propriety and family honor above all. If she learned Gu Yanchen had disrupted his new bride's peace for a feigning concubine's daughter, even aiding her extravagance, to never forgive him. Before long, the matriarch appeared, leaning on her cane and supported by Zhang Ma. Her face bore stern authority. What kind of behavior is this? Making such a commotion late at night, grandmother. Gu Yanchen instantly changed his demeanor, hurrying forward to offer his arm. It was Su Wanqing who was unreasonable. Qingyue was gravely ill. Yet not only did she refuse to visit, she even brought false ledgers to slander Qingyue. Slander. I stepped forward, presenting the ledger from the brocade box to the old lady. Look, grandmother. This ledger bears the seals of the Golden Jade Pavilion and the gambling house, along with Su Qingyue's own signature. Moreover, the servant I sent to the pleasure boat yesterday reported that Su Qingyue not only listened to music and drank wine aboard, but also gambled on cricket fights with the actors, winning a pair of jade pendants. Tell me, does that sound like something a gravely ill person would do? The matriarch narrowed her eyes, took the bill, and examined it closely. She then glanced at the trembling Lu Shi and the anxious Gu Yanchen, whose forehead was beaded with sweat. She tapped her cane on the floor with a thud. Gu Yanchen, you fool. Her voice was low but brimming with fury. The Su family's legitimate daughter marrying into your Gu household is a blessing. Yet you, before the wedding ceremony, abandoned your bride to entertain a concubine's daughter, and now you aid that very girl in disrupting the wedding night. Have you no regard for the Gu family's traditions? Do you even acknowledge me as your grandmother? Gu Yanchen, cowed by the scolding, dared not lift his head, stammering a feeble defense. But Qingyue, don't mention that girl to me. The matriarch cut him off. A concubine's daughter, restless in the Su household, feigning illness to lure you in day after day, squandering money recklessly. Is such a person truly worthy of your concern? Starting today, you are confined to your study for 3 days to reflect on your actions. Lu Shi tried to intercede for Gu Yanchen, but the old matriarch glared at her before she could speak. Madam Lu, this is a matter for the Gu family. It is not for an outsider from the Su family to meddle. Keep your own daughter in line and prevent her from interfering in Gu family affairs again. Otherwise, don't blame me for not showing respect to Grand Tutor Su. Madame Lu's face instantly drained of color, and she dared not utter another word. Gu Yanchen shot me a fierce glare but dared not defy the matriarch's command. He could only follow the steward away. His head hanging low, the matriarch glanced at me, her eyes carrying a hint of scrutiny. "Sue girl, you handled today's matter well. You show the bearing befitting a daughter-in-law of the Gu family. Just remember in future matters, don't be too hasty. Learn to conceal your shortcomings. Only then can you endure the long haul." Madame Xia offered her counsel. I curtsied in acknowledgement, understanding clearly that her words were both praise and warning. Her support stemmed not from fondness for me, but from preserving the Gu family's honor. After the matriarch departed, the courtyard fell silent once more. Gu Yanji had appeared beside me at some point, gazing toward the direction Gu Yanchen had vanished. He murmured, "You seem to have anticipated the matriarch would aid you." I turned to look at him. Moonlight fell upon his face, deepening the intensity in his eyes. The matriarch values propriety above all. Gu Yanchen violated it. I merely acted accordingly. He smiled, choosing not to press further. Instead, he gestured with a polite invitation. "The night is late, madam. Please retire early. I shall work in the study." Watching his retreating figure, my fingers tightened into a fist. Though I had won this round today, Su Qingyue and Gu Yanchen would never let it rest. In my past life, Su Qingyue feigned helplessness to gradually dwindle away every piece of dowry my mother left behind. This time, I will not only reclaim that dowry, but make them pay for their past deeds. A gust of wind blew in through the window, making the candle flame flicker. I saw Gu Yanji pause at the study door, glancing back at me with an expression I couldn't decipher. I averted my gaze and walked to the dressing table. Removing the phoenix hairpin from my hair, I stared at my reflection in the bronze mirror. This face was no longer the pale, haggard one from my previous life. My eyes held light, held hatred, and held the resolve to live this life anew. The next morning, just as I finished my ablutions, a maid announced outside the courtyard that Su Qingyue had arrived, carrying a food box. She claimed to have specially brought nourishing soup for my elder sister. My hand holding the wooden comb paused. A cold smile touched my lips. In my past life, she was exactly like this, pretending to be deeply affectionate in public, yet stabbing me in the back with the most vicious blows behind closed doors. Now she came bearing soup, likely to probe my condition while staging another performance of the sickly younger sister doting on her elder sister act. Let her in. I set down the comb and motioned for my maid Chun Tao to gather the ledgers from the table. I had just had the accounts clerk organize them this morning. They detailed the dowry my mother left behind in my previous life. Most of these items were swallowed up by Lady Lu under the pretense of keeping them safe for you. This time, I'd keep a closer watch. Moments later, Su Qingyue entered carrying a food box. She wore a plain moon-white gown, her hair loosely gathered, her complexion indeed looking rather pale, yet the sharpness in her eyes was impossible to conceal. The moment she stepped inside, she hurried to my side. Her eyes reddened as she clutched my hand. "Sister, I was wrong yesterday. I caused you and brother-in-law." Her hand was ice cold. I withdrew mine without showing it, gesturing to the chair beside me. "Sit down, Chun Tao. Pour second young miss a cup of tea." Su Qingyue sat down, pushing the food box toward me. Her voice softened. "Sister, I know you're still angry with me, but I truly didn't mean it. Yesterday, I was dizzy and disoriented, so I sent a maid to fetch my husband. I never expected it to turn out like that. This soup I stewed myself this morning. It nourishes qi and blood. Would you like to try some?" I didn't touch the food box but looked at her face instead. Is your illness better now? Little sister. Yesterday the maid said your fever hadn't broken. How could you be stewing soup yourself today? Su Qingyue's eyes flickered as she lifted a handkerchief to dab at the corner of her eye. Thanks to my brother-in-law sending a physician yesterday. I took the medicine and feel much better now. But sister, I heard. Your husband is the Gu family's illegitimate son. He holds little sway in the household. Won't you suffer injustices by marrying him? If I'd known sooner. I should have stopped you, prevented you from acting on impulse. These words masked as concern were actually meant to sow discord between me and Gu Yanji. They also implied my proposal yesterday was an impulsive act that brought shame upon the Su family. I lifted my tiku. Gently blowing away the foam. My tone level. You certainly worry about a lot. Little sister. But matters between me and Yanji need not trouble you. As for you, the physician said yesterday you needed rest. Why did you come out today? If you fall ill again, your husband will only worry. I deliberately emphasized the word brother-in-law. Sure enough. Su Qingyue's face paled slightly, and her hand tightened around the handkerchief. Sister. I'm only worried about you. After all, Gu Yanchen is the Gu family's eldest son. He was confined by grandmother yesterday and must surely resent you. You must be careful in the Gu household from now on. Careful about what? I set down my teacup, my voice turning colder. Careful he'll abandon his own affairs again for your serious illness. Or careful you and Lady Lu will produce more fake receipts to frame me. Su Qingyue snapped her head up, her eyes wide with surprise. Clearly not expecting me to call out yesterday's events so directly, she opened her mouth to protest. But just then, Chun Tao entered from outside and whispered something in my ear. I nodded, turned to Su Qingyue, and let a smile too. My lips. Oh right, sister. Chun Tao just mentioned that yesterday afternoon, a servant from the Gu household saw you at the Wind Listening Theater in the west of the city. They said you were wearing a watered skirt, watching a play with some young master, and even laughed as you tossed out TI. P.S. What? Did the physician permit you to go to the theater for entertainment? Su Qingyue's face instantly turned ashen. She sprang to her feet, her voice trembling. Impossible. They must have seen wrong. I was recuperating at the manor all yesterday. How could I have gone to the theater? Ask Li the servant to confirm whether it was a mistake. I called out toward the door. Li the servant. Come in. A middle-aged man dressed in blue cotton garments entered, bowed respectfully to me, then looked at Su Qingyue and stated firmly, Second young miss. Yesterday afternoon at the hour of Shin, this servant did indeed see you on the second floor of the Listening to the Wind Theater. You were accompanied by a maid dressed in green, and you requested the performance of the Peony Pavilion. It is true. Su Qingyue's lips tremble. Unable to utter a word. That maid in green was none other than Shui'er, her most trusted attendant. Sister. I stood up and walked to her side, lowering my voice. Faking illness once was enough. Using that trick every time is downright foolish. Do you think Gu Yanchen will still trust you like before? Or that I'll be as easily manipulated as in my past life? Su Qingyue suddenly looked up at me, her eyes filled with terror. As if she didn't recognize me, she stumbled backward, colliding with a chair. The food box crashed to the floor, its contents spilling everywhere. Soup splashed across the tiles, while a few red dates and longans rolled out. It wasn't some blood-nourishing broth at all, but a sickly sweet syrup, hardly something for a patient to drink. How did you? Su Qingyue's voice trembled with tears, yet lost its earlier fragility, replaced by panic. How did I know? I smiled. If you dared to do it. Sister. You shouldn't fear others finding out. You came to deliver soup today. Likely wanting to see how I fare at the Gu household, hoping to sow discord between me and Yanji. So Gu Yanchen might change his mind and return to you. Right. Too bad your plan backfired. Just then, footsteps sounded at the courtyard gate. Gu Yanji entered, frowned at the mess on the floor and Su Qingyue's appearance, and asked, "What happened?" Su Qingyue, seeing him as her savior, lunged forward to grab his sleeve but was sidestepped. She stumbled, tears falling. "Brother-in-law. Sister framed me. She said I went to the opera house and accused me of faking my illness. I didn't. You know in your heart whether it's a false accusation or not." Gu Yanji's voice was calm yet carried an undeniable authority. "The Gu household is not a place for you to throw tantrums. Since the soup has been delivered, you should return home. It's best to avoid the old lady finding out and getting angry again." Su Qingyue met Gu Yanji's icy gaze, then glanced at me, realizing further outbursts would only worsen her situation. She gritted her teeth, shot me a fierce glare, and bolted out the door, not even pausing to retrieve the food box she dropped. Chun Tao tidied the mess on the floor, whispering, "Miss, did you know second miss would come? Did you have Li the servant waiting on purpose? She didn't get her way yesterday, so she'd definitely come probing today." I walked to the window, watching Su Qingyue's disheveled retreat. But this was only the beginning. She and Lady Lu wouldn't let it end here. Gu Yanji approached me, holding a piece of paper. "I had this investigate, Ed," he said, handing it to me. "Madame Lu has been secretly contacting merchants who previously did business with the Su family. It seems she intends to cut off the Su family's supply lines to pressure you." I took the paper. The handwriting was clear, detailing Madame Lu's meeting times and locations with several merchants. I looked up at Gu Yanji. His gaze was calm. "We are husband and wife now. The affairs of the Gu family are also your affairs." Clutching the paper, I understood clearly this was both an offer of goodwill and a test of my limits. I neither refused nor thanked him, merely folding the paper and tucking it into my sleeve pocket. "Thank you, but the matter with Lady Lu, I can handle it myself." Gu Yanji smiled, said nothing more, and turned toward the study. I watched his retreating figure, my fingertips tightening slightly. In this life, I need not rely on anyone. Yet if someone chooses to be my ally, I would mind a temporary alliance. But Lu Shi and Su Qingyue, their next moves will likely be far more ruthless. I must prepare in advance. Sunlight streamed through the window, filtering through the lattice to cast dappled patterns on the floor. I touched the dowry list tucked in my sleeve POC. Ket. My gaze hardening. What belonged to me? I would not let them take a single thing. The debts owed to me, I would collect every last penny, with interest. Gu Yanchen's house arrest had just ended when Chun Tao overheard news from a servant in the Gu household's accounts office. He ding to the west side of town to meet with Mr. Wang, the silk merchant, aiming to snatch this year's contract for supplying silk to the imperial palace from the Gu family. I clutched the piece of paper Gu Yanji had given me earlier, my fingertips pausing over the name Mr. Wang in my pastel. Ife. Gu Yanchen used this very contract to establish his authority within the family. Later, leveraging this position, he seized control of the Gu family's business operations. Ultimately, he colluded with the Lu family to swallow up the Su family's cloth shop. This time around, I absolutely cannot let him get his hands on that contract. Prepare the carriage. We're heading to Jinhua cloth shop in the western part of the city. I rose and changed into a crisp, lake blue qipao, instructing Chen Tao to bring the old ledger of my mother's business dealings with Mr. Wang during her lifetime. The Su family cloth shop had collaborated with Mr. Wang for over a decade. Always settling accounts punctually and benefiting both parties. This was my strongest bargaining chip. As the carriage pulled up before Jinhua cloth shop, I spotted Gu Yanchen's carriage parked nearby. I lifted the curtain, sent Chen Tao ahead to announce my arrival, and waited by the carriage. Soon, a shop assistant came trotting out. Bowing respectfully, "Madam Su, our master awaits you inside." I entered the shop. Gu Yanchen sat in the hall, holding a teacup in his hand. His expression darkened instantly when he saw me. "Su Wanqing, why have you come?" "This is where I conduct business with Mr. Wang. It has nothing to do with you. How can I, as the wife of the Gu family, not be involved in the Gu family's business?" I walked over and sat down in the chair opposite him. Chen Tao placed the ledger on the table. "Besides, I came to see Mr. Wang to discuss the Su family's old partnership with the cloth shop. That's different from you." At that moment, a middle-aged man dressed in brocade robes and sporting a goatee emerged from the inner chambers, none other than Mr. Wang himself. Spotting me, he paused in surprise before clasping his hands in greeting. "Mrs. Su, it's been ages. What brings you here today?" "Uncle Wang." I rose to return his greeting, my tone warming slightly. "I came today, first to inquire about your recent business. And second, I heard the Gu family wishes to discuss the Imperial Silk Order with you. I thought I might join the conversation." Gu Yanchen abruptly stood up and addressed Mr. Wang. "Mr. Wang, didn't we agree earlier? This order is mine. Why did you let her get involved?" Mr. Wang's smile faded slightly as he looked at Gu Yanchen. "Young Master Gu, in business, the highest bidder wins. Since Mrs. Su is here, she naturally has the right to compete." I pointed to the ledger on the table and said to Mr. Wang, "Uncle Wang, look, this is the ledger of the Su family's cooperation with your cloth shop during my mother's IME. For over a decade, our Su family has never once delayed payment to you. Every delivery was made according to your requirements, selecting only the finest fabrics. Now consider you, Mr. Gu." I turned to face Gu Yanchen. "Last year, you took 500 bolts of silk from our shop, claiming they were for merchants in Jiangnan, yet payment was delayed 3 months. And in the end, you shorted us 50 taels. Surely you haven't forgotten that." Gu Yanchen's face flushed crimson instantly. He pointed at me, shouting, "You're lying. When have I ever delayed payment? Whether it's lies or not, Uncle Wang knows the truth." I looked at Mr. Wang. "Moreover, this imperial order specifically requires cloud brocade from Shu. The Gu family's warehouse holds only 200 bolts of cloud brocade, all last year's old stock. It simply cannot meet the palace's requirements. I've already secured a supplier in Shu. If the order is awarded to me, fresh cloud brocade will arrive in the capital within 3 days at a price 10% lower than what you offered, Uncle Wang." Mr. Wang's eyes lit up as he turned to Gu Yanchen. "Young Master Gu, is Madam Su telling the truth? The brocade in your warehouse is old stock." Gu Yanchen's face paled as he stammered. "What's wrong with old stock? It's still usable, Uncle Wang." I interrupted him. "Imperial affairs demand precision. If substandard materials are discovered by the Empress Dowager or the Empress, not only will your cloth shop suffer, but the Gu family will also bear responsibility. Are you willing to take that risk?" Mr. Wang frowned, pondered for a moment, then bowed his hands to me. Madam Su. You have a point. This order, I believe, should go to you, as long as you can deliver on time. And if you can lower the price by another 10%. We can sign the contract right now. Gu Yanchen grew frantic, stepping forward to grab Mr. Wang's arm. Mr. Wang, you can't do this. We had an agreement earlier. Mr. Wang shook off his hand, his expression darkening. Mr. Gu, business thrives on trust. You can't secure new materials and have a history of delayed payments. How could I possibly entrust such a large order to you? You'd best leave now. Gu Yanchen glared at me, his eyes filled with venom, as if he wanted to devour me whole. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. Finally, he kicked the nearby stool hard and stormed out, slamming the door behind him. Watching his retreating figure, I felt no triumph, only a deep calm. This was merely the first step of my counterattack. Gu Yanchen wouldn't let it go. He would certainly consult with the Liu family and Su Qingyue, and his next moves would be far more ruthless. Mr. Wang picked up his pen, signed the contract, and handed it to me. Mrs. Su, I look forward to our collaboration. Likewise. Uncle Wang. I took the contract, reviewed it carefully, and after confirming everything was in order, signed my name. As we stepped out of the fabric shop, Chun Tao exclaimed excitedly, Miss, you were incredible. Seeing Mr. Gu like that was so satisfying. I smiled but said nothing. In my past life, it was my weakness that let them bully me without resistance. This time, I'll make them understand that Su Wanqing is not someone to be trifled with. Upon returning to the Gu residence, Gu Yinji was reading in the courtyard, spotting the CT in my hand. She raised an eyebrow. Got the order. MHM. I handed her the contract. Gu Yanchen will likely seek out the Liu family. We must be cautious from now on. Gu Yinji flipped through a few pages before looking up at me. Need my help? Like investigating the Liu family's subsequent dealings with merchants? No need. I took the contract and tucked it into my sleeve pocket. I could handle the Liu family matter myself. Still, thank you for that piece of paper you gave me earlier. Gu Yinji smiled, said nothing more, and returned to her book. I walked to the window, gazing at the sycamore trees beyond the courtyard, mentally mapping out my next plan. If Liu sure wants to cut off the Su family's supply, I'll start by targeting the Gu family's business. That'll leave her and Gu Yanchen unable to support each other. As for Su Qingyue, she suffered a loss last time. She'll definitely find another way to harm me. I need to prepare in advance and wait for her to walk right into my trap. The setting sun cast golden afterglow across the courtyard, bathing everything in a warm halo. But I knew this warmth was only superficial. The hidden turmoil had only just begun. I touched the contract in my sleeve pocket, my fingertips tightening slightly. What belongs to me, I will reclaim bit by bit. What is owed to me, I will collect bit by bit. No one will escape. Just as I finished instructing the accountant on the follow-up matters for the palace silk order, the Su family's old steward arrived, standing at the courtyard gate. He bowed deeply, his tone excessively deferential. Madam, the master sent me to request your return to the manor. He says it has been too long since he last saw you and wishes to speak with you. My fingers paused on the ledger as I lifted my gaze to the old steward. This man was a distant relative of Lady Liu. In my past life, it was he who deceived me back to the Su household from the Gu family. Watching as Lady Liu and Su Qingyue forced the poison down my throat. Understood. I'll Chan, Ji and come at once. Setting down the ledger, I gave Chen Tao a discreet nod. She immediately understood. Slipping quietly to the rear courtyard to alert the servant I'd arranged beforehand, changing into a plain-colored Richuan. I took no extra attendance. Only Chen Tao by my side. As the car IH rolled through the gates of the Su residence, I caught a fleeting glimpse of a figure behind the window of the West Wing Su Qingyue's maid, entering the main hall. Master Su sat as expected in the seat of honor. His face dark and unyielding. Not once looking my way, Madame Lu sat beside him, clutching a handkerchief. Her eyes reddened, seeing me enter. She rose to greet me. Wan Qing. You've finally returned. Your father has been thinking of you constantly these past days. Unable to eat, Su Qingyue emerged from the inner chambers. Dressed in a pink Richuan with strands of hair loosely framing her face. Appearing exceptionally fragile. Sister. I know I was wrong, Bifo. Please don't be angry with father. If you still blame me, I'll kowtow to you an apology. Is that all right? She began to kneel. But I sidestepped her. My tone level. Sister. There's no need for that. I returned to see father. Not to hear your apology. Master Su finally spoke. His voice hoarse. Wan Qing. After you married into the Gu family, your aunt and Qingyue managed the household so well. Father wants me to thank them. I interrupted him. My gaze drifting to the teacup on the table, the one Lu Shur often used. It held amber-colored tea now, with a few chrysanthemum petals floating on the surface. The steam carried a faint, exotic fragrance, somewhat reminiscent of the medicine from my past life. Madame Lu immediately took up the thread, lifting the cup to offer it to me. Wan Qing. What are you saying? We're family, no need for thanks. This chrysanthemum tea is specially brewed for you. It clears heat. Managing the Gu household's business must be exhausting. Try some. As she held the cup before me, I deliberately let my hand slip, spilling some steaming liquid onto my sleeve. The scald heat made my fingertips go numb. I hissed in pain. A flicker of satisfaction crossed Lu Shur's eyes before she quickly feigned alarm. Oh dear. Did I burn you? My fault, I was too hasty. It's fine. I withdrew my hand and wiped my sleeve with a handkerchief. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Chen Tao standing by the doorway, discreetly signaling all set with her fingers. She had already placed the small porcelain bottle I'd prepared in advance, containing the calming medicine, on Madame Lu's dressing table. I picked up the teacup again, my fingertips brushing the warm rim, deliberately sipping slowly. I set it down and massaged my temples, my voice sounding slightly hollow. This tea, it makes me feel a bit dizzy. Madame Lu and Su Qingyue exchanged a glance. Su Qingyue immediately stepped forward to support me, her grip so firm it nearly forced me back into the chair. Sister, are you tired? Sit down and rest. I'll fetch some candied fruit to cut the richness. No need. I pushed her hand away, swaying deliberately toward Master Su. Father. My head is spinning. Could this tea be tainted? Master Su frowned, about to speak, when Lady Lu interjected sharply. Wan Qing. Don't be ridiculous. This is just ordinary chrysanthemum tea. How could it be problematic? Did you suffer some injustice at the Gu household and come back to take it out on us? Take it out on you. I steadied myself against the table, suddenly raising my voice. Then what is in that small porcelain bottle engraved with the character you on your dressing table? Madame Lu's face instantly paled, and she instinctively touched her collar. How did you know? Before she could finish, Chen Tao entered with two servants, holding a small porcelain bottle engraved with the character moon. Master. This was found on Lady Lu's dressing table. The powder inside was examined by the physician as a drug that causes confusion and delirium. Master Su sprang to his feet, pointing at Lady Lu. You dared hide such a thing. You intended to drug Wan Qing. No. It's not like that. Lady Lu frantically waved her hands, then pulled Su Qingyue close. It was Qingyue. She said she feared sister would blame her, so she wanted sister to drink the potion and talk honestly with her. Su Qingyue stumbled backward from the shove, tears spilling instantly. Mother, how could you say such things? You were the one who said sister stole brother Yanchen's order, disgracing the Su family. You wanted to drug her so she'd be humiliated at the Gu household. That's why I... Shut your mouth. Lady Lu frantically tried to cover her daughter's mouth, but Su Qingyue dodged her. Mother and daughter instantly began wrestling, hair and clothes disheveled. Master Su trembled with rage, snatching the teacup from the table and smashing it to the floor, shards scattering everywhere. Enough. You two, one scheming against the legitimate daughter, the other siding with outsiders. Do you even acknowledge me as your master? Have you forgotten the Su family's rules? Lu Shi and Su Qingyue both stopped fighting. Lu Shi slumped into her chair, her face ashen. Su Qingyue covered her face and wept, her shoulders heaving, yet lacking the earlier feigned fragility. I stood by, observing the chaos before me, my fingertips lightly tracing the cuff of my sleeve. The tea spilled there earlier had long been soaked up with my handkerchief. That faint, exotic fragrance was merely the bait I deliberately used to lure them into the trap. Master Su gasped for breath, turning to me with a tone laced with remorse. Wan Qing, father was foolish. I failed to see their true colors and caused you such hardship. I shook my head, refusing to engage. In my past life, he'd always been this way whenever Lady Lu or Su Qingyue erred. He'd merely call himself foolish, never truly punishing them. This time would Li Kuli be no different. Just then, footsteps echoed outside. Gu Yanji's personal servant dashed in, bowing before me. Madam, the young master sent me to report that Master Gu has gone to the Sichuan supplier you previously contacted. It seems he intends to intercept our cloud brocade shipment. My heart tightened. Gu Yanchen hadn't been idle after all. While the situation with Lady Lu and Su Qingyue was ill unfolding, he was already meddling in business affairs. Upon hearing Master Gu, Lady Lu's eyes lit up. She struggled to her feet. Brother Yanchen, he's come to help us. Wan Qing see. Brother Yanchen still sides with us. You shouldn't dwell on what happened before. I ignored her and turned to Chun Tao. Pack our things. We're returning to the Gu residence. Su Qingyue stopped crying and stared at me, her eyes filled with resentment. Sister, you're just leaving like this. Father hasn't punished us yet. Are you afraid Brother Yanchen will come after you? I paused and looked back at her. Tear streaks still marred her face, yet her gaze held venom. I said nothing, merely lifting a hand to tuck a stray lock of hair behind my ear before turning to leave. Chun Tao followed behind, whispering, Miss, are we just letting them off? Letting them off? I didn't pause, my voice low and measured. This is only the beginning. At the Su residence gate, the carriage was already waiting, Gu Yanji's servant still standing by. I lifted the curtain, about to step inside, when Su Qingyue's shrieks reached me from behind. Su Wan Qing, don't get too cocky. Brother Yanchen won't let you off easy. I didn't turn back, bending down to slip into the carriage. As the curtain fell, I squeezed the contact information for the shoe supplier hidden in my sleeve pocket. Gu Yanchen might try to muscle in, but that depended entirely on whether I agreed. Hidden in a secret compartment inside the Ariage were 2 letters. One was the reply I received earlier this month from Mr. Joe, the shoe supplier. It stated, "Out of gratitude for Lady Sue's mother's past kindness, this batch of cloud brocade will be supplied exclusively to the Sue family, regardless of any bidding." The other was the receipt for the advance payment of 30% I had instructed the accountant to send earlier. My fingertips traced the edges of the paper as I calculated the journey. Master Zhou's caravan should reach the capital tomorrow. Even if Gu Yanchen rushed there now, he could only intercept it at the post station outside the city. Chun Tao. Have the driver detour to the Tenli station outside the city. Do not turn directly to the Gu residence. I lifted the side curtain of the carriage and spotted a young servant in a blue short-sleeved tunic by the road's ideaman I had previously stationed near the Gu residence. He flashed me a 3-fingered gesture, signaling that Gu Yanchen had 3 attendants with him and was carrying banknotes. The carriage had barely turned off the main street when urgent hoofbeats echoed behind us. Gu Yanji's voice called from outside. "Su Wanqing, I'm coming with you." I lifted the curtain to see him mounted on a white horse, clutching a cloth bundle with a solemn expression. Gu Yanchen has 500 taels in silver notes and intends to leverage his status as the Gu family's eldest legitimate son against Boss Zhou. Going alone could prove troublesome. My gaze fixed on the bulging cloth bundle in his hands. It resembled ledgers or similar documents. In my past life, Gu Yanchen had indeed leveraged his status to pressure Mr. Zhou. But Mr. Zhou loathed being bullied with titles back then. When the Gu family patriarch tried to seize his warehouse, it was my mother who stepped in to mediate. I neither refused nor thanked him. Only said, "Fine. At least he won't be able to say I bullied him later." Outside the Shirley Post station, a convoy wagon stood parked. Boss Zhou stood beside it smoking his pipe. Spotting our carriage, he started to approach but was halted by Gu Yanchen's outstretched hand. Gu Yanchen flicked a banknote in his hand, his tone haughty. "Boss Zhou, take these 500 taels. Sell the yun brocade to me." What does Su Wanqing, a mere woman, know about business? Only I can decide on orders for the Gu family. Mr. Zhou paused with his pipe, refusing the banknotes as his gaze shifted past Gu Yanchen to me. I stepped down from the carriage and handed him the letter and deposit receipt I held. "Mr. Zhou, the agreement made at the beginning of the month still stands." "Correct. I've already had the bookkeeper send the 30 deposit to your branch in Shu territory. Here is the remittance stub." Mr. Zhou took it, glanced at it twice, tapped his pipe against his shoe sole, and bowed slightly to Gu Yanchen. "Young Master Gu, I'm afraid I must decline. I made prior commitments to Mrs. Su. Besides, her mother saved my son's life years ago. I cannot break this deal." "What did you say?" Gu Yanchen snatched the receipt, his hand trembling with rage. "She's just a dead woman. Can she feed you? I'll add another 200 taels. 700 taels. Enough for 2 more shipments. It's not about the money." Mr. Zhou took a step back, his tone turning colder. "Last year, young Master Gu took 300 bolts of silk from me. To this day, you still owe 80 taels for that shipment. It's all recorded in my ledger. If I sell you the goods today, I fear I won't and recover the money for this yun brocade." Gu Yanji stepped forward, unfastening the cloth bundle in his hands. Inside lay the Gu family's ledger. Pointing to a page, he declared, "Brother, the accounts office has pressed you 3 times about last year's debt to Master Zhou. Each time you've stalled with business fluctuations. If Mother learns of this, do you think she'll still entrust you with managing the Gu family's affairs?" Gu Yanchen's face instantly turned liver-colored. He pointed at the 2 of us, speechless for a long moment. You two conspired to trick me. You were the one who broke the contract first and refused to pay your debts. How can you blame us for tricking you? I took the receipt handed back by Mr. Joe and turned to the escort masters. Please deliver the goods to the Imperial Weaving Bureau immediately. I'll have someone meet you there. The escort masters acknowledged the order and immediately drove the escort carts in the opposite direction. Gu Yanchen tried to step forward to stop them, but Gu Yanzi raised a hand to block him. Brother, stop this. If you continue, you'll only bring shame upon the Gu family. Gu Yanchen shot me a fierce glare, then glanced at Mr. Zhou and Gu Yanzi, realizing he'd get nowhere today. He slammed the silver note he held onto the ground. Su Wanqing, you just wait. This feud is settled between us. With that he turned, leaped onto his horse, and rode off angrily with his retinue. Mr. Zhou watched his retreating figure and shook his head. The eldest son of the Gu family. How he grows more foolish with each passing day. He turned to me and bowed slightly. Mrs. Su, I will oversee the delivery of the goods to the Weaving Bureau. Rest assured. Thank you for your trouble, Mr. Zhou. I handed him a brocade box containing delicacies specially prepared from the capital. Please take this small token back for your children to try. After seeing Mr. Zhou off, Yu Yanji looked at the silver note on the ground. He bent down to pick it up and handed it to me. Gu Yanchen is truly furious this time. You must be extra cautious from now on. I didn't take the banknote. He dropped it himself. I said, keep it. Hand it over to the accounts ladder. It's an expense for the Gu household. With that, I turned toward the carriage. After 2 steps, Chun Ta dashed around the corner, her face ashen. Miss, it's terrible. Concubine Liu is spreading rumors at the Su residence claiming you've been unfaithful to the Gu family and embezzled Su family funds to pave Gu Yanji's path. Now the whole capital is abuzz. My footsteps halted, my fingers clenching the receipt tightly. Madame Liu certainly knows how to time things. Seeing that Gu Yanchen failed to intercept the funds, she resorts to rumors to ruin my reputation just as she did in my previous life, turning me into the subject of whispers among the capital's noble women until I dared not step outside. Gu Yanji overheard and frowned. Shall I send someone to clarify? I can manage. I cut him off, lifting my gaze toward the Su residence. The calm in my eyes vanished, replaced by a chill. If she wanted to spread rumors, I'd give her a far more entertaining reason to shut her own mouth. Chun Tao protested anxiously. Miss, what shall we do now? If Master hears these rumors, he'll surely blame you again. I pulled back the carriage curtain, bent down to enter, and instructed Chun Tao. To the Su residence. I'll see just how long this rumor from Lady Liu can spread. Gu Yanji stood outside the carriage, watching me, as if wanting to say something. I didn't look back at him, only told the driver, drive on. As the carriage moved slowly, I retrieved another piece of paper from a hidden compartment. It contained evidence of Lady Liu secretly selling the Su Fa. Millie's fields to merchants last year. Proof I'd spent half a month having the accounts clerk search for. I'd intended to save it for later, but now seemed the time to bring it out. The next day was the Su family's ancestral memorial ceremony. By custom, I had to return to the estate. The moment I stepped through the Su residence gates, I saw Lady Liu standing at the main hall entrance, dressed in a brand new dark green qipao, her eyes scrutinizing me. Behind her stood several elders from the Su family's collateral branches, their gazes equally probing. Wanqing has arrived. Come in queue, Yukli. The elders are all waiting for you. Madame Liu smiled kindly, reaching to take my arm. I sidestepped her and walked straight into the hall. The atmosphere inside was heavy, Master Su sat in the seat of honor, his expression even more somber than yesterday. Madame Lu followed behind me the moment she entered. She knelt with a thud, covering her face with a handkerchief and sobbing. Father, uncles and elders, I know this isn't the time to speak of such matters during the ancestral rites, but I simply cannot hold back any longer. After Wan Qing married into the Gu family, she secretly took the ledgers of the Su family cloth shop and embezzled 3 months' worth of revenue. Now the shop is on the brink of collapse. You cannot turn a blind eye to this. As soon as these words were spoken, the elders from the collateral branches immediately began whispering among themselves, their gazes turning sharply toward me. Master Su frowned, pointing at the ledger on the table. Wan Qing, your aunt presented this, claiming you embezzled the profits. Is this true? I glanced at the ledger. Its cover was new, and the handwriting inside was sloppy and crooked, clearly an imitation of my own. Madame Lu continued wailing, uncles, look, the signatures in this ledger are Wan Qing's handwriting. Not only did she take the money, she also referred the cloth shop's long-standing customers to the Gu family. She's trying to bleed the Su family dry. Bleed the Su family dry. I let out a cold laugh, pulling 2 ledgers from my sleeve pocket. One was the small booklet Gu Yanji had given me, the other the genuine ledger I'd had Chun Tao retrieved from the cloth shop's old bookkeeper. Aunt Lu, you accuse me of embezzling profits. Then explain this. It records you withdrawing 200 taels from the shop last month to buy Su Qingyue a gold hairpin. What's that about? And this entry you secretly gave 10 bolts of cloud brocade from the shop to your maternal nephew. How do you account for that? I flung the ledgers onto the table, pages scattered, revealing clear dates, amounts, and handwritten signatures. Madame Lu's wails abruptly ceased, her face turning ashen. Thighs is fake. You forged it. Ask the old bookkeeper, confirm it's false. I called out toward the door, and Chen Tao promptly ushered in a gray-haired old man, very same bookkeeper who'd served the Su family cloth shop for 30 years. The old accountant bowed respectfully to Master Su and the elders, then picked up the ledger from the table, pointing to the handwrit, ing. Master, gentleman. This ledger was recorded by this humble servant. Every entry has supporting documentation. Concubine Lu drew money from the cloth shop every month but never submitted receipts. I tried to advise her several times, only to be scolded by Concubine Lu. Madame Lu leapt to her feet, pointing at the old accountant. You're lying. You've been bribed by Su Wanqing. The old accountant trembled with rage, pulling a cloth bundle from his robe. Inside were all the slips documenting Madame Lu's withdrawals. These are slips you signed yourself. The handwriting matches perfectly with the fake ledger you showed the master. A distant relative, the second uncle, took the slips and compared them to the fake ledger. Frowning, he said, it is indeed the same handwriting. Sister-in-law, what on earth is going on here? Madame Lu panicked, grabbing Master Su's sleeve. Master, I'm being framed. Su Wanqing and the old accountant conspired to set me up. Qingyue, help mother speak up. Su Qingyue stood pale-faced to the side, her eyes darting nervously. I don't know. I never saw mother withdraw money. You never saw it. I looked at Su Qingyue. Then where did you get the crimson gold hairpin you wore last month? Or the cloud-patterned brocade skirt you wore just days ago? They didn't just fall from the sky, did they? Su Qingyue was rendered speechless by the question and could only lower her head. Seeing no one came to her aid, Lady Lu suddenly lunged forward, trying to snatch the ledger from my hands. I sidestepped her, and she missed completely, crashing to the floor, her hair scattered everywhere, her former dignity utterly lost. Madame Lu, I stepped before her. My voice as cold as ice. You forged evidence to frame me. Embezzled Sioux family assets to subsidize your natal family. And indulge Su Qingyue's extravagance. By the law. These crimes alone warrant your trial before the magistrate. You dare. Madame Lu scrambled to her feet. Her eyes wild with fury. I am the mistress of the Sioux household. You cannot send me to the magistrate. Matriarch. Master Sioux finally spoke. His voice thick with disappointment. How can your actions still befit a matriarch? Wan Qing. Since evidence exists, let us proceed according to custom. I beckoned toward the doorway. And 2 constables immediately entered. I had reported this to the authorities before arriving this morning, instructing them to wait outside. At the sight of the constables, Lady Lu's legs buckled. And she collapsed to the floor. Don't arrest me. Father, I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. Master Sioux turned away. Refusing to look at her, the constables stepped forward, fastening iron shackles around Lady Lu's wrists. She struggled, crying out Su Qingyue's name. But Su Qingyue had already hidden behind a pillar, not daring to lift her head, watching Lady Lu being led away. Elders from the collateral branches all breathed sighs of relief. Second uncle patted my shoulder. Wan Qing. We owe this to you. Otherwise, the Sioux family would have been utterly disgraced. I nodded, saying little else. Master Sioux approached me, his tone tinged with remorse. Wan Qing. Your father was foolish. I never saw your aunt's true colors, causing you such hardship. Father. Let bygones be bygones. I picked up the genuine ledger from the table. I'll have the old accountant reorganize the cloth shop's records. From now on, I'll send you a detailed monthly revenue report. Just then, Chun Tao quietly approached me and whispered, Miss. Word from the Gu household says Gu Yanchen has been grounded for 6 months by the matriarch. She also stripped him of his management rights over the grain shop. My heart stirred. With Gu Yanchen's downfall and Lu Shi's arrest, only Su Qingyue remains. Just as I was about to speak, Su Qingyue peered out from behind a pillar, her eyes filled with venomous hatred. Spotting me looking her way, she hastily retreated. I paid her no mind, turning instead to address Master Sioux and the elders. Father. Uncles. The hour for the ancestral rites approaches. Let us proceed to the ancestral hall. Master Sioux nodded and led the way toward the hall. Following behind, Chun Tao whispered, Miss. What about Su Qingyue? She'll surely plot against you again. Without Lady Lu's backing, she couldn't stir up much trouble now. I didn't pause my steps. Still, the reckoning that must come will come sooner or later. Reaching the temple entrance, I saw Su Qingyue standing on the steps, clutching a sachet in her hand, her eyes darting nervously. I ignored her, walking straight into the temple and bowing before the ancestral tablets of the Sioux family. Incense smoke swirled around me as I studied the characters on the tablets. Only one thought occupied my mind: most of what was owed to me from my past life has now been repaid. The remainder will soon follow. No sooner had I finished my bow than a maid's cry pierced the air outside. Miss. Trouble. The second miss is missing. I whipped around to look at the spot where Su Qingyue had stood moments before, now empty. Chun Tao panicked. Miss. Could she have run away? I frowned. If Su Qingyue had escaped, she would surely seek out Gu Yanchen. If those two joined forces, trouble was bound to follow. I immediately turned and headed outside. Chun Tao. Prepare the carriage. To the Gu residence. When the carriage stopped at the entrance to Gu Alley, I spotted a pink figure crouched in the shadows by the side gate of the Gu residence. It was Su Qingyue. slipping a note inside. The one receiving it was Gu Yanchen's personal servant. Don't speak yet. I held back Chun Tao, who was about to disembark, and peered through the carriage curtain at the servant, watching him tuck the note away and dash into the mansion. I whispered, "Go fetch the constables guarding the alley entrance. Have them wait outside without alerting anyone inside." Chun Tao darted off at my command. I smoot, had my robe and walked alone toward the Gu residence's main gate. The steward greeted me as soon as he saw me. "Madam, why have you come? The young master is waiting for you in his study. Where is Gu Yanchen?" I cut straight to the point without beating around the bush. The steward's expression stiffened. He stammered, "The young master is still under house arrest in the East Courtyard. Take me to the East Courtyard." I cut him off, my tone leaving no room for argument. The steward dared not question further and led me eastward. As soon as we turned the corner of the corridor, the sound of an argument drifted from the East Courtyard, the voices of Gu Yanchen and Su Qingyue. "How useless can you be? You couldn't even get the ledgers and ended up fleeing because Su Wanqing cornered you." Gu Yanchen's voice was thick with irritation. What could I do? Mother was arrested, and the entire Su family sided with Su Wanqing. Su Qingyue's voice trembled with tears. "Brother Yanchen, didn't you say you had a way to deal with her? What exactly is it? Why the rush?" Gu Yanchen lowered his voice. "I've already made contact with merchants from Beatty. Once we sell the Gu family's grain seeds to them and get the money, I can take you out of the capital. Then, no matter how powerful Su Wanqing is, she won't be able to find us." My footsteps halted, my heart sinking. Colluding with foreign enemies, trafficking grain seeds, that's a capital offense. The steward stood frozen, his face drained of color. I ignored him. Pushing open the door, the two figures in the East Courtyard whipped around, their faces turning ashen the moment they saw me. "Su Wanqing, what brings you here?" Gu Yanchen scrambled to shield Su Qingyue, his eyes darting nervously. "This is my courtyard. You have no right to enter." "No right." I stepped into the courtyard, my gaze landing on the letter paper on the stone tablet bore the totem of the Northern D, along with the quantities and timing of the transactions. Conspiring with the Northern D, trafficking grain seeds. Tell me, do I have the right to enter? Gu Yanchen's face twisted in shock as he lunged to grab the paper. I sidestepped him, raising my voice to call, "Gu Yanji, I found what you were looking for." No sooner had the words left my mouth than Gu Yanji entered with several clan elders, holding several letters in his hands. "Brother, did you think hiding correspondence with Northern D merchants under your bed would keep me from finding it?" Gu Yanchen stared at the letters in Gu Yanzi's hand, then glanced at the paper in mine. His legs buckled, nearly collapsing to his knees. No, it's a misunderstanding. Su Qingyue forced me. She made me contact the Northern D merchants." Su Qingyue shoved him away violently, shrieking, "You're lying. You wanted to sell the grain seeds for money yourself. Even said you'd take me away. Now you want to pin the blame on me. Enough." The matriarch entered, leaning on her cane, her face ashen, staring at Gu Yanchen. Her hands trembled with fury. "Our Gu family has served the state loyally for generations. How could we produce a traitor like you, colluding with foreign enemies? Trafficking grain seeds. Do you want the entire Gu family executed? Grandmother, I was wrong. I didn't mean to." Gu Yanchen lunged forward to grab the old lady's sleeve, only to be kicked away. "You weren't wrong. If you were innocent, would you have cast aside the Gu family's safety? Would you have prioritized your selfish desires over your kin?" The clan elders joined in, their voices boiling with fury. "Such a traitorous son must not be spared. Indeed, old lady, If the imperial court learns of this, the Gu family is finished. Gu Yanchen met the furious stares of the crowd. Knowing his fate was sealed, suddenly, he sprang to his feet. His gaze fixed on me with venom. Su Wanqing. This is all your fault. If not for you, how could I have ended up like this? I'll drag you down with me even if I die. He lunged at me, but I was prepared. I sidestepped and kicked him square in the knee. Gu Yanchen collapsed to his knees with a thud, pinned down by the constables who arrived immediately after. Gu Yanchen, you've colluded with foreign enemies. The evidence is irrefutable. You can't just do as you please anymore. I stared at him, my voice icy. What you owe me. What you owe the Gu family. What you owe the imperial court, it's all time to pay back. The old matriarch closed her eyes, her voice hoarse. Bind him and take him to the authorities. Draft a document to expel him from the Gu family, never to be employed again. Constables stepped forward, fastening iron chains around Gu Yanchen's wrists. He struggled, shouting Su Qingyue's name, but she had long since collapsed to the ground. Trembling in terror, watching Gu Yanchen being led away, the clan elders breathed sighs of relief. Gu Yanji approached me and whispered, "Thanks to you, otherwise the Gu family would truly have been ruined this time." I shook my head, my gaze settling on Su Qingyu, still slumped on the ground, her eyes vacant. Clutching that sachet in her hand, it seemed to conceal something inside. Su Qingyue. I stepped before her. Gu Yanchen has been arrested. Do you truly believe you can escape? Su Qingyue snapped her head up, madness filling her eyes. She fumbled a small porcelain vial from the sachet, pulled the stopper, and prepared to pour its contents into her mouth. My reflexes were swift. I knocked the vial from her grasp, its powder scattering across the floor. Want to die? Not so easily. I stared at her. Your mother embezzled Su family assets. You feigned illness to ruin my wedding. You aided Gu Yanchen in spreading slander. These debts remain unsettled. Chun Tao entered with constables, bowing to me. Miss. Officials have arrived to take Su Qingyue to the precinct for questioning. The constables stepped forward and pulled Su Qingyue up. She struggled, shouting, "Su Wanqing, I won't let you off. Not even as a ghost. I won't let you off." I ignored her, watching her being led away. My heart remained utterly still. Another debt from my past life repaid. Gu Yanji walked beside me, gazing at the direction Su Qingyue vanished. Next he murmured, "We must handle the aftermath for the Gu family. The seed grain matter still requires a clear explanation to the court." I nodded, then turned to look at the old matriarch. She stood in the courtyard, watching the direction Gu Yanchen was led away, her expression complex. I knew the Gu family's power would soon be redistributed. This time, I would not be manipulated like in my previous life. Just as I was about to speak, a servant's shout came from outside. "Young master, madam, the imperial censor sent by the court has arrived and requests to see the old lady and both of you." Gu Yanji and I exchanged glances, both seeing gravity in each other's eyes. The censor's sudden visit was likely concerning Gu Yanchen's collusion with the northern barbarians. This time, whether the Gu family could weather the storm depended entirely on how they handled the situation. At the mention of imperial censor, the old lady snapped back to reality, lifting her hand to smooth her robe. "Quickly, prepare tea. Go to the main hall to receive him." Following the matriarch toward the main hall, Gu Yanji leaned close and whispered, "Are you prepared? Censors are the most meticulous. If we can't produce evidence, the Gu family will bear the blame." I had prepared long ago. I drew an oil paper packet from my sleeve pocket. Inside lay 2 letters. One was Gu Yanchen's secret correspondence with the Northern D merchant. The other was the denunciation letter I'd submitted to the prefect of the capital 3 days prior. I'd long suspected Gu Yanchen's irregularities and had already handed over the location of his hoarded grain seeds and a copy of the secret letters to the prefect. Anticipating precisely this day, a flicker of surprise crossed Gu Yanji's eyes before he nodded. You've always been thorough. As soon as we entered the main hall, we saw a middle-aged man in crimson official robe seated beside the main position. His expression stern. It was Magistrate Zhang, the imperial censor. Noticing our entrance, he rose and bowed. Madam. Second young Master Gu. Madam Su, you're too kind. Magistrate Zhang, please take a seat. The old lady offered her seat. Though her eyes betrayed a hint of tension, Magistrate Zhang sat and got straight to the point. I come today regarding the matter of first young Master Gu Yanchen colluding with the Northern D tribes and trafficking grain seeds. I understand the Gu household has apprehended the suspect. Might there be evidence? Before the matriarch could respond, I stepped forward and handed over the oil paper wrapped letter. Minister Zhang, this is Gu Yanchen's secret correspondence with the Northern D merchant. It bears his handwritten signature and the Northern D totem. 3 days ago, upon noticing his suspicious movements, I disclosed the location of his hidden grain seeds, the abandoned granary in the western suburbs, along with a copy of this letter to the magistrate of Jingzhou. His men are likely conducting a search there now. Magistrate Zhang took the letter, examined it carefully, and gradually relaxed his frown. Madame Su is indeed astute. So this means Gu Yanchen's actions were his own person. Conduct. Unrelated to the Gu family. Absolutely unrelated. The matriarch immediately interjected. This old woman only learned of this ungrateful son's deeds today. I have already ordered his expulsion from the Gu household, never to be employed again. The Gu family has served the state loyally for generations. We would never collude with foreign enemies. Magistrate Zhang nodded and asked, what of Su Qingyue? I hear she was closely associated with Gu Yanchen. Was she involved? Just as I was about to speak, Chun Tao rushed in from outside, holding a note. Miss. Word from the magistrate's office. Su Qingyue is falsely accusing you in court. She claims you knew Gu Yanchen planned to sell grain seeds, helped conceal it, and sought to share in the ill-gotten gains. At these words, Magistrate Zhang's expression darkened again, his gaze toward me growing more scrutinizing. She certainly knows how to frame others. I let out a cold laugh and pulled a receipt from my other sleeve pocket. Magistrate Zhang, this is Su Qingyue's IOU for 80 taels of silver she owed the gambling house last month, along with her bill for jewelry purchased at Golden Jade Pavilion. The money Gu Yanchen gave her was spent entirely on such indulgences. She likely didn't even know about his grain seed scheme. How could she possibly share in the profits? I had Chen Tao hand over the witness statements from Su Qingyue's recent visits to the opera house and gambling den. These individuals could all testify that Su Qingyue had been preoccupied with extravagance lately, never involved in the Gu family's business affairs, let alone colluding with the northern barbarians. Her false accusation against me today was merely an attempt to drag someone down with her, or reviewing the ledgers and testimonies. Magistrate Zhang's expression softened completely. He addressed the elderly matriarch. Madam, it appears this matter was indeed orchestrated solely by Gu Yanchen. While the Su family's daughter may be of questionable character, she has not been involved in treasonous activities. The Gu household deserves credit for promptly discovering and proactively reporting this. The matriarch exhaled in relief and hurriedly thanked him. Thank you, Magistrate Zhang, for your discernment. Magistrate Zhang rose. With the evidence clear, I shall return to the prefecture to report. Should further investigation be needed, I shall send men to summon you. After seeing Magistrate Zhang off, the matriarch looked at me with eyes full of approval. Wan Qing. We owe today entirely to you. Without you, the Gu F. Emily would have truly been ruined this time. From now on, if you have any thoughts regarding the Gu family's affairs, feel free to share them with me. Thank you for your trust. Madam, I bowed respectfully, knowing this marked the true beginning of my foothold within the Gu household. Gu Yan. She approached me with a smile. It seems the Gu family's business will rely more heavily on Madame Su's efforts from now on. Merely doing my duty. I didn't respond to his remark. Instead, turning to Chun Tao, go to the magistrate's office and find out what final sentence Su Qingyue received. As soon as Chun Tao left, the accountant hurried in, holding an account book. Madam Young Master, this is the ledger for the grain shop previously managed by the eldest son. We discovered he not only misappropriated revenues but also embezzled 5,000 taels of silver. 5,000 taels. The matriarch frowned. That ungrateful son has utterly disgraced the Gu family. Please don't fret. Madam, I took the ledger and flipped through a few pages. Gu Yanchen owns a residence in the western part of the city. Purchased last year. That should cover part of the deficit. The remainder, I'll have my people cover from the profits of the palace silk orders. It W. On affect the Gu family's cash flow. The matriarch nodded, said no more, and turned to return to the inner courtyard. Gu Yanji looked at me, his expression complex. You seem to have everything figured out. Just a bit of advanced preparation. I closed the ledger. Gu Yanchen's deficit needed covering. The Su family cloth shop required reorganization. There was much to be done. Just then, Chun Tao returned, a smile on her face. Miss, the verdict is in. Gu Yanchen was found guilty of treason and collaboration with the enemy. He's been sentenced to immediate execution by beheading, to be executed after the autumn harvest. Su Qingyue, for false accusation, defamation, and the previous embezzlement of Su family assets, has been sentenced to 5 years of exile. My hand paused on the ledger. Yet my heart remained utterly still. The grudges from my past life were finally nearly avenged. Gu Yanchen, Lady Lu, Su Qingyue had met their deserved ends. Gu Yanji froze upon hearing execution by beheading, then sighed. He brought this upon himself. It was the path he chose. I handed the ledger to the accountant. After selling Gu Yanchen's estate to cover the deficit, I deposited the remaining funds into the treasury for future use. The accountant acknowledged and withdrew. Only Gu Yanji and I remained. In the main hall, he looked at me and suddenly spoke. Wan Qing. You. His words were cut off by a servant outside. Madam, the second master of the Su family has sent word. The old shopkeeper of the Su cloth shop has fallen ill and wishes to invite you back to the estate to oversee the shop's affairs. My heart stirred. The Su family cloth store was built from the ground up by my mother. In my previously, Fei. It was ruined by Lady Lu and Su Qingyue. This time around, it was my turn to reclaim it. I rose and said to Gu Yanji, I'll leave the Gu family matters to you. I must return to the Su residence. Gu Yanji nodded. Travel safely. If you need anything, send word anytime. Without a not. Her word. I took Chun Tao and headed out. Just as we reached the gate, a servant sent by the Su family stood anxiously beside the carriage. Madam, second uncle says several senior clerks at the cloth shop want to leave. If you don't go now, the shop will fall apart. I frowned. Though Lady Lu and Su Qingyue were gone, others still sought to disrupt the cloth shop. It seemed the Su family's affairs were far from settled. I quickened my pace and climbed into the carriage. Chun Tao, hurry to the Su family estate. As the carriage moved, I lifted the curtain and gazed at the familiar streets outside. I knew clearly what needed to be done next. To take complete control of the Su family estate, ensuring those seeking to stir up trouble could never raise their heads again. When the carriage stopped at the Su family cloth shop, several clerks were already carrying bundles out the door. Second uncle stood on the steps, blocking them. His face flushed with urgency. Wait a moment. Late Ching will be here soon. Speak with her. What are we waiting for? Second uncle. A tall clerk shook off the manager's hand. The cloth shop is nearly ruined by the Liu family. Now the old shopkeeper is ill. Are we supposed to stay here and starve? I pulled back the curtain and leaped down, my voice clear and sharp. Who's going to starve? The clerks turned at the sound and froze when they saw me. The tall clerk stiffened his neck. Madam Su, you're now part of the Gu family. Do you still concern yourself with the Su cloth store? I am the Su family's legitimate daughter. This cloth store was built by my mother's own hands. How could I not care? I stepped before them, my gaze sweeping the group. You wish to leave, fearing the store can't survive and you won't receive your wages. But I'll make this clear today. If you stay, I'll raise each of your monthly wages by 20%. The wages owed by the Liu family will be fully reimbursed within 3 days. At these words, the workers stirred, exchanging glances. The tall one tried to hold his ground. But the shop has no business now. I'll bring in the business. I pulled a paper from my sleeve pocket, a follow-up intent agreement for the palace silk order. The palace has just placed an order for next year's spring fabrics with me, requiring a large workforce to rush the production. If you stay, you'll not only have stable work but also receive year-end bonuses. Chun Tao promptly handed me the pre-prepared list of unpaid wages. Everyone, take a look. This shows the amount each of you is owed. It's all recorded here. I guarantee it will be settled within 3 days. The workers gathered around the list, their hesitation fading from their faces. The elderly tailor, who had remained silent until now, sighed. Since the madam says so, I'll stay. The old proprietor treated us well. We can't just let the cloth shop fall apart like this, with someone taking the lead. The other workers also set aside their reservations. We'll stay too, as long as we get paid. We'll work hard. The tall apprentice stood rooted to the spot, his face flushing red then pale. Finally, he scratched his head. Then, I'll stay too. I spoke rashly earlier. Please forgive me. Madam, no hard feelings. I smiled and turned to second uncle. Second uncle, please take the apprentice's CK to the kitchen to rest. I'll go check on the old manager. The old shopkeeper's bedroom was in the back courtyard of the cloth shop. When I entered, he was leaning against the headboard, coughing. Seeing me, he struggled to sit up. Madam, stay lying down. I pressed his hand down and touched his forehead. Thankfully, he didn't have a fever. I'd already sent Chun Tao to fetch the doctor. Rest assured, I'll handle the shop. The old shopkeeper's eyes reddened as he sighed. Madam, while Lu Shi was here, she alienated all our long-standing customers and secretly swapped fine fabrics for inferior ones. Now, winning them back, it's difficult. Not difficult. I reached into my sleeve pocket and pulled out a wooden box. Inside were letters exchanged between my mother and our long-standing customers during her lifetime. These clients were all dear to her. I will personally visit them, and I am confident I can persuade them. As for the fabrics, I have already instructed the Gu household's accountant to prepare the silver. Tomorrow, I will go and purchase the finest shoe brocade to replace all the inferior goods from before. The old shopkeeper lifted up the box and nodded. With your assurance, Madam, I can rest easy. We had barely exchanged a few words when Chun Tao led in the physician, bearing news. Miss, The cloth shop's accountant has fled, taking the shop's reserve silver with him. My heart sank. This accountant was a distant nephew of the Liu family. I hadn't had time to deal with him. And now he'd beaten me to it. I told the physician, "Please tend to the old shopkeeper. I must attend to some matters." Stepping into the front courtyard, I found second uncle's son, Su Ming, pacing anxiously. "I just went to the accounts room. The window was open, and the silver and ledgers are gone." "Calm down." I recalled instructing Chun Tao to investigate the accountant's background earlier. His hometown was Sujiatan in the south of the city. He must have fled there. "Chun Tao, report this to the authorities and have constables intercept him at Sujiatan." "Su Ming, take 2 clerks to the city gates and prevent him from leaving the capital." Both men responded immediately and split up to carry out their orders. Second uncle approached, his expression grave. "Wan Qing." The accountant took 50 taels of reserve silver and the cloth shop's old ledgers. "If we can't recover them, we will recover them." My tone was unwavering. A bookkeeper with no strength to lift a chicken won't get far. Besides, I had the old shopkeeper start fresh with new ledgers long ago. Losing the old ones matters little. Sure enough, within an hour, Chun Tao returned with constables escorting the bookkeeper. Not a single tael of the reserve silver was missing. The accountant knelt on the floor, sobbing and begging, "Madam, please spare me. It was Lady Liu who ordered me to watch over the cloth shop. I didn't mean to steal the silver. Lady Liu has already faced justice. You still want to frame others." I looked at him. "Considering you didn't spend the silver, I won't send you to the authorities, but you must write down every scheme Lady Liu orchestrated in the cloth shop. Then leave the capital and never return." The accountant nodded frantically, burying his face in the table to write his confession. Once finished, the shop assistants hauled him out. By the time the accountant's matter was settled, dusk had fallen. Chun Tao brought in a bowl of hot tea, smiling as she said, "Miss, now that the cloth shop affairs are settled, you can finally catch your breath." Just as I took Gu Yinji's servant rushed in. "Madam, the young master sent me to relay a message. The chief eunuch from the palace just visited the Gu residence, wishing to place another order for cloud brocade. He said the empress greatly admired the fabric you sent earlier." My eyes lit up. This was a golden opportunity to solidify cloth shop's business. Just as I was about to speak, Master Su entered, leaning on his cane, followed by several elders from the Su family's collateral branches. "Wan Qing." Master Su's voice carried regret. "Father was foolish before, causing you much hardship. Now that Lady Liu and Qingyue have been brought to justice, the affairs of the Su family shall be entrusted to you henceforth. We all have faith in you." Third uncle nodded beside him. "Indeed, Wan Qing, you saved the cloth shop and even secured business from the palace. You're far more capable than us old fogies." I bowed deeply. "Thank you, Father. Thank you all for your trust. Uncles, I will manage the Su family well, ensuring my mother's hard work is not in vain." Just then, Gu Yanji arrived, holding a brocade box, just retrieved from the storeroom, remnants of the cloud brocade we made for the palace. "See if the cloth shop can use it." I opened the box. The cloud brocade inside shimmered with vibrant hues, exactly what the shop needed. Lifting my gaze to Gu Yanji, I met his gentle eyes. "Wan Qing, you still haven't answered my question." I knew exactly what he meant. After a moment's silence, I said, "Gu Yanji, in this life, I only wish to control my own destiny. I no longer want to depend on anyone, but you are my ally. And also, Someone worthy of my trust. He smiled, choosing not to press further. Take your time, he said. I'll wait for you. As night deepened, the cloth shop stands began sorting fabrics. Warm light spilled from the windows. Standing on the steps, I watched the scene unfold, my heart serene. The humiliation and pain of my past life had vanished with Gu Yanchen's execution, the Liu family's imprisonment, and Su Qingyue's exile. Now, I had the NGTH to protect the Su family, safeguard my mother's life's work, and steer my own business and destiny. Chun Tao approached, handing me a newly received order. Miss Zhang's tailor shop in the south of the city has placed an order for fabrics too. They're seeking a long-term partnership. I took the order, my fingertips tracing the characters. A relaxed smile touched my lips. The road ahead stretches long, but I am no longer that helpless Su Wanqing. I can stand on my own 2 feet and live the life I choose. The night watchman's wooden clapper echoed in the distance. The third watch had begun. I turned toward the cloth shop, Gu Yinji following behind with steady, deliberate footsteps. The lamplight cast our shadows upon the cobblestone path. Long and resolute. The end.